Welcome back to New to Medical Device Sales. I am your host, Jacob McLaughlin, and I'm coming to you today with a special guest like always. But I'm really excited about this guest because this guest has kept me updated through the process. We talked, we've had a lot of fun it's been fun for me to get the LinkedIn messages, seeing where it's going, seeing how the process was going for him. And now he landed a job with one of the top companies in the world. So today we have Cameron Forbes. He now just broke in, like I said, with one of the top companies in the world for medical device sales. And he's going to share his journey and some tips that can help you guys. So Cameron, welcome to the podcast.
Appreciate it, Jacob. I remember when I reached out first, I said this is one of my big goals to get on the podcast. So it's a big day for me as well.
we're happy to have you, man. And just before we even get started, I just want to make a comment to everybody is, Cameron, during that we got on a phone call, but Cameron just kept me updated. And I knew that Cameron was going to go far because he just kept staying with it, and he would just update it, and he wouldn't even ask for anything. He just would be like, hey, I'm letting you know I'm going through this. Hey, this happened today. And I say that because it just showed that he was very due diligence. He did it. He did his due diligence, and he wasn't just waiting for a job to come. And and I know you got several offers, correct?
Yeah, so I got several offers within multiple different companies, and some within the same company as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So again, guys, it goes above and beyond. So that's why I'm excited to have Cameron today, because it's been fun to, again, just watch the LinkedIn messages. We would react a little bit, but he just kept me updated, and now to see him break into medical device sales. So correct. Congratulations to that.
I appreciate that.
And now just having you on the podcast to share and help others. So Cameron, can you kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of, what you were doing before where you're at right now?
Yeah. So what I was doing previous was I'm actually still a licensed dietitian, registered dietitian in North Carolina. So basically I did one-on-one consulting and coaching with a sales aspect in there. My job previously was 100% commission based. So essentially you start this company and you have 0 clients. And if you do not get a client, your paycheck will be 0, 0, 0. So that was my first introduction to the commission-based world. And I started about a little over 2.5 years ago with that company. So that was awesome. I mean, I did 4 years undergrad, got a master's in nutrition, and then I did an internship to be able to even take my registered dietitian exam. So there's a lot of work to even get to where that was. But then I kind of started, my reasoning for looking at the medical device sales industry was I essentially hit that growth cap where I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and I knew I couldn't go much further. And so it felt like a grind, not a good grind though, like just a draining to get up in the morning, knowing that I've already held my caps and I'm not even 30 yet. So I'm 29. And so I was kind of at that point in my life where I was like, I got to make a change. And so I was actually at a football game, at a Panthers game with my father-in-law and a couple of his buddies. One mentioned to me, hey, you should look into the medical device industry. I hear they make good money, and it's with your background, it could probably work. And I was like, all right. So came back, Googled it, and then that started everything. And I think that was in November-ish. Yep. And then from there, I first started doing it the exact wrong way you should do it. And that's just blasting your resume out there, because I did not get any hits with my resume. So I did that for like 2 or 3 weeks, or 2 to 4 weeks, I'd say. And then just said, okay, I got to do something different. So I started Googling different stuff, fell upon the medical sales college, kept Googling. I was like, okay, I really don't want to pay that much money, but there's a campus right down the street. So I started Googling, should I go to this? What's the benefits? Just doing a lot of research. Fell on your podcast and a couple other podcasts and why you wouldn't do it. And I saw you break in with I would say you definitely have sales experience, because that was my same argument. Was
exactly.
I might not have B2B sales, but my entire job was built off of building relationships. Like if you don't have a good relationship with somebody, they can just not show up and just ghost you.
And especially for you, right? 100% commission, just like myself when I was personal training. You eat what you kill. Yep. That's what they always say in B2B sales. It's no different. We're just not selling a copier or payroll, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's I mean, honestly, it's the relationship piece I feel is even more important than what we would do. So
100%.
basically think about what I did was essentially what you did, but just the nutrition side of things.
Yep.
So it was like I'm selling somebody else on the idea of where they'll be in like 6 or 12 months. They have to do all the work. They have to trust my process, and they got to show up.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of the hardest sale I would say there is, to be
I'm with
honest.
you, brother. Preach it. Preach it.
Yeah. And I saw that, and I saw you're able to break in. So I was like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. I'm going to follow him, and I'm going to just see what he's doing. Um, got your ebook. I will say that ebook was great. I followed that to a T. 30, 60, 90-day plan. The networking, I would say 100% the networking is the one thing that you have to do. All my offers I got came from networking.
Same here.
It was basically just hopping on the right calls with right people, and that worked. I mean, I broke in pretty quickly. I sent my first LinkedIn message on December 31st of 2021, and I accepted. So I'm kind of a unicorn in this realm because the first interview I got is the offer I took. So that was, I know that's not normal. I definitely lucked
That's
there.
amazing.
But that's what led me. It was just those relationships that I built led me to getting those offers. And I got offers as a full rep as well. So full rep and ASR, but I decided to go the ASR route instead.
Yeah, because it was with the company that you were hoping for, and again, so it just fits you better. The one thing I do want to touch on real quick, because you made a great comment, was you got on the phone call with the right people, and I know what people are at home are going to be thinking. Well, why can't I get that? Or how did you know they were the right people? Let me make this very clear. Cameron didn't know they were the right people at the right time. Right? Like you just did. It's called sales. It's calling people, reaching out to people. Maybe they're a manager that are looking to hire. Maybe it's just a manager willing to talk. Maybe it's a rep who knows, like for example, like I've always said, I'm a rep. And if a teammate leaves or if we have an opening comes up, my manager comes down to me first and asks if I know of any person. I literally just had a recruiter call and said, hey, I have a position back in the Midwest. Do you have anyone you can put up for that? Like, I don't even know them, right? Like they're just asking, they see who I am and going off that. So again, I just want to make that statement for everyone listening. A lot of times there's always the excuse of like, oh, I don't know the right people, or I don't know. Cameron and I, same exact background, no sales experience. We're selling something that people have to do all the work, and we knew zero people starting out. So it just came down to reaching out, doing your research, Googling, and then sending out messages. And guess what? I promise you, Cameron sent out a lot of messages that he did not get any responses on. And then people would schedule calls and they didn't do it. And so let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah. So I built the spreadsheet and everything as well. I still have that and I still use that. I think I reached out to it's over 100 at this point. It's about like 105, 110 from December 31st till now. So I was doing all that with a full-time job too. So in between my clients, I would throw in a 30-minute phone call with it would go from anywhere from like an on-site specialist to I'd reach out to VP of sales because I had no knowledge of the industry whatsoever. And my thought process was, the best way to learn about it is by reaching out to these people. And that really worked because when I actually got in front of these regional managers for these interviews, they were blown away with the information that I knew. Like I already knew their products, already knew the reps that they had under them, already knew their reps' names. I talked to their reps for 45 minutes to an hour. I was prepared coming in, and they were 100%. Not expecting somebody to be prepared for something they'd never been in. So,
and that's why you stand out. I get chill. Like I'm literally getting chills because I'm like, that's the answer to everybody who reaches out to me. We were just talking off air. I still have people reach out to me who tell me they've listened to me for a year and they still won't take the 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes, 30 seconds to look up my LinkedIn to see who I work for. And then they're asking me dumb questions and they don't have any questions prepared. Right. And that's why Cameron got 2 months, got several job offers, full line sales rep, is where he is today because came prepared, was willing to work. And this is what I try to tell everybody. When I say you have to network, it's not because I'm just saying you need to call people. I don't care about that. It's, what the regional manager hears? A hustler. a person
Yep.
willing to put themselves in uncomfortable positions that don't know, may not know something, but is willing to go out there and figure it out.
Yep. And that's exactly what happened. I got a call. So I sent a LinkedIn to the regional manager that I actually got the offer from. She shot me a message back and said, "Hey, I'm not hiring for an ASR right now, but I'm hiring for a rep, but reach out to me in February." So I went ahead and put in my calendar every week, you got to reach back out to this person. But I didn't even have to do that, because what happened was a phone call 2 days later with another regional manager. He basically just like put his neck on the line for me. It was like, "Hey, I'm going to endorse this guy because I like him." We were talking and I was prepared for that conversation. He sent my resume and me over to her, and she hopped on a call with me 3 days later. So I actually got the interview before they even posted the job, 3 weeks before it was posted. So I probably had four interviews before the job was even posted online.
I love it.
So like, you don't know who is going to be that call that gets you that, like, basically that network there.
Yep.
Because I mean, I talked to 100 something people on the phone, but I mean, I don't even know how many people I messaged.
100%.
Like it was people from all across the country. So like, yeah, I started local, but then I just branched out and I was like, okay, I mean, if only one or two people get back to me locally, there are plenty of other people and there's plenty of other companies. Like, just reach out to everybody and you'll learn. And that worked. It worked pretty quickly too.
Please take the last 2 minutes, go back and listen to it like 8 times. What Cameron just said is it's the most true I can say. Like, you hit the nail on the head, right? Like, that's what I did. I reached out to everybody because I always say this, right? Like, even if it's a company you're trying to interview and it's like a certain company you want to be with, guess what? The person who is in LA and New York, they both have the same competition, the same company, the same struggles, the same selling points, right? Like, each territory might be a little different, but you can learn so much. And so, like, when Cameron would come prepared and already knew about the products because he talked to the rep out in LA and he's going, like, that's what you can't teach. And that's what these managers and these VPs and everybody sees. And then the thing I do want to just touch on, you guys, this is what I really am very passionate about. He worked with people. He's all about relationships. Same with me. I had to be with relationships. When you guys are watching this video or listening to this podcast, you're going to notice one thing. Cameron's super easy to talk to. He's super, like, the conversation just flows between us, right? This is the first time we're seeing each other. Like, we got on one other call, but it just goes naturally. And literally I know that's how it was when you would call these reps and these managers. And it was the same for me. And that's what they're looking for, because let's just be straight up with everybody listening. If you're awkward to talk to, if you don't have good energy, if you're not easy to talk to, that's how they're thinking you're going to talk to a doctor. And guess what? Doctors are going to be like, "See ya." Like, we don't want anything to do with you. Like, that's why they hired me, is they're like, "Oh, you're so energetic, you're happy, you're easy to talk to." So when I'm going to talk to my physicians, or I have to go into a staff and talk to 30 different staff members I've never met, and I'm just the random rep there doing a lunch, they wanted to know, "Hey, can Jacob do this?" Same thing for Cameron. When they're listening and they're having a talk, that's why a regional manager, after one conversation, is like, "Cameron's got it. He's my dude. I'm going to go out and put my neck on the line for him."
Yeah. And that's like, I mean, I would treat every single one of those phone calls as an interview.
Every
Like, in
time.
my mind, this is an interview, because I don't know who they know. I don't know who they've talked to about me. After about 80 plus people I've talked to, somebody's heard of me at this point. And then, like I said earlier, like, I reached out to on-site specialists all the way up to VP of sales. The VP of sales that I got that actually messaged me back, I got an offer from him. Like, I skipped through all the other processes, and that one was just boom, boom, here's your offer.
Yep.
And then it was a role that just didn't work out. I went with the other offer, but
Yep.
we didn't burn any bridges. We got on a call and he was like, "Hey, I completely understand. If you ever need something, you let me know. And if you ever want to become part of our team, you got a spot open."
This is where I get more chills, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, right." Because same thing for me. I get this question a lot, right? If you're dealing with multiple companies, people will like, "What should I do?" And they think they should lie, and I'm like, "No, the best thing you can do is just be honest," right? Because here's the thing: if you lie, people are going to find out. That's just that's human nature, right?
Yeah.
And this world is very small. So there's a chance that you say something and they know the manager at the different company you're interviewing
Yeah.
with, right? And so that's where I just tell people, like, same with me. I got my first job offer a month before I took my other one, and I had 3 others
Mhm.
come. But with that first one, I said, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I truly appreciate it. Right now, I have some other things that are locally close here in Phoenix that I think I'm going to stay with. But I truly want you to know what it means for me to have my first offer come from you. Right. And he was like, hey, so
Yeah.
glad I could be the first to offer you. I know you're going to do great. Let's stay in touch. Same thing. Right. Because here's the reality in what we talk about in med device sales. COVID round two could hit tomorrow. I'm fired. Right.
Mhm.
And your other company that you stayed in contact with might be hiring, and they might, and even with that, right, me and Cameron are going to stay in touch, but like other people that he networked with, they like Cameron, he's going to stay in touch with them. And you never know when he can help someone else or they can help him. We say that all the time. Someone who
Mhm.
I've had reps that are 3 years in, and they're like, they help me get in, and I say thank you, and they're like, hey, one day you might be my manager, or you might be at a company and I get fired and I need a new place to go. Right. And that's what this is all about, is relationships, keeping and maintaining, because it's no different than, again, going into being with your doctors and your clients. If you don't get business or stuff, you don't just burn a bridge, because then you're that jerk, and guess what, you'll never win. You're not going to get the business. But if you can just continue to come back and be the guy that people like, it all works out in the end. And worst case scenario, this is what I tell everybody: worst case scenario, you did good karma, you made someone feel good, and you're helping others.
Yep. And I've got a perfect example of the honesty piece that you touched on. So I was in the final stages of interview for the current role I have. And then I had another connection basically endorse me for a full rep role where I have to move. And I'm recently married and everything. So the location wasn't a fit. But I mean, a full rep role as opposed to an ASR role, it's a significant pay bump. I mean,
Yep.
yeah, it's more stressful, but I mean, it's a life changing pay bump there. So you got to entertain it. But he basically needed an answer back if I was going to take that role within 24 to 48 hours.
Yep.
So basically, I got that role from connections, but then the honesty and integrity piece comes in where they're from the same company. And so I'm so deep in this process, I've already built relationships with the regional manager, the reps, everybody in this division. So I'm sitting there at night, it's like 8, 9 p.m. And I'm like, dang, I don't know what I should do. Like, I want to go with this offer, the ASR role. Should I email the regional manager and let her know, just in case she's heard something, because they can hear things through the grapevine? And luckily I did. I didn't wait till the next morning. I emailed her that night and was like, hey, I'm fully committed to your ASR position with your division. I'm coming in and like I'm fully committed to you guys. I just want to let you know, just in case you've heard anything. I didn't reach out to get this offer. They reached out to me and I hopped on a call with them. She sent me an email back within probably 5 minutes and said, hey Cam, yeah, I did hear about that. I really appreciate you reaching out to me and being honest. This just shows me that you are definitely the person that we need on the team.
Yep.
And then I instantly texted back that manager that sent me the offer for the full rep role, explained to him why I wasn't taking his offer. He said, hey, I completely understand. I knew I was kind of late to the game anyway. No harm, no foul kind of thing. And I kept that bridge alive as well. So
Yep.
that honesty and integrity is the way to go for sure.
And that's just life, man. And again, I just got chills again. Like, you're hitting on so many good points. If you like, this is what I just tell people, and this is just life. Now, let's get away from medical device sales for a minute. If you're just a hard worker, you do the right thing and you stay true to people and treat others better than you treat yourself, or not treat yourself, but treat people better than they treat you. And you're just honest and helpful, you're going to go far in this world. No matter what, you'll make money, you'll be able to make relationships, you'll be successful in whatever that looks like for you. But that's just life. And so it's fun to see, especially with you, Cam, like how it's happened, and the success you've had. And again, just getting multiple offers, and again, breaking in under 3 months, like that doesn't happen, and getting multiple, and again, just seeing it come and happen for you, man. I'm just so excited for you, because I know it's going to be life changing for you and your family, and I'm just super excited to see where it goes. And again, thank you. First off, you're providing so much value to all the listeners. Like, this has been amazing. But I got to ask, people are going to listen to this. You're going to attract a lot of people. I already know that. People are going to listen to this and be like, I want to talk to Cam. because he has a lot of great tips. He got offers like crazy. He's got something special. What tips would you give to people trying to break into med device sales? If they're like, hey, I'm trying to get in, no matter if they have sales experience or if they don't have sales experience, because as you know, we don't need sales experience to get in. If you do have sales experience, maybe you have an upper leg, but what's your tips to people that you would say, hey, this is what I would give you advice for?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first one I'd say is what we already touched on a lot. So I won't spend too much time on that, but you got to network.
Yep.
That is a non-negotiable. So we've already touched on that. You know that. One, I would say, or the next one, I'd say you got to be yourself, because if you're trying to be someone else, I mean, you are interviewing for a sales position that is the major league or the mecca of sales.
Yep.
They are going to sniff that out and you're automatically going to be done. So you got to be yourself. And if yourself isn't kind of like the personality or the fit for a certain company, okay, maybe that's just not the company you need to go with, but
Yep.
you have to double down on yourself. I would highly recommend that. And then you just really have to put in the work. Like, you got to be patient. And I say be patient, but like, I was able to break in pretty quickly. It felt like forever though. I mean, I'm waiting in between these interviews and just trying to be patient and just finding something to do in the meantime, like looking up products, continuing to reach out and connect with people, just finding something to do that's going to better you, give you that 1% edge. And two, or the third point I'd say is you got to be competitive. So my thought process going into this was, I mean, I saw your podcast and everything. I'm like, okay, well, the other candidate I'm going up against is Jacob. Like, think about it like that. If you don't think you can go in there and compete against Jacob or me, then you're done. Like, I'm coming in and I'm trying to kill you, basically.
No, exactly. And that's just sales, right? Like, it's not, I don't hate you. I'm not trying to, like, me and Pierre were talking about this the other day, right? We could go out for the same job. I like him. We're best friends, but like, hey, it's my job. Like, it's not your job. It's my job. You know what I mean?
Yep. And so I have a perfect example of that too. So I have a friend who she is interviewing for an ASR role with the same company. And she texted me and she knew I had a interview coming up. She's like, hey, I was wondering if you could help me out with the interview coming up. I know you're interviewing for an ASR position too. And the first text I sent back to her was, what position or what division, ... And she told me it was a different division. I was like, all right, let's hop on a call. I'll talk to you, because
100%.
you're interviewing against me. You are not, I'm not giving you anything you can do to win. I'm sorry.
No.
I mean, no offense to her, but that's not how it's going down.
No, exactly. And that's just sales, right? Like, we're here to help people, but it's also like, this is my talk with everybody, right? If it was the same division, guess who did more work? Guess who got on more calls? Guess who found out more information?
Yep.
You deserve to win, right? Like, that's my talk with everybody. And I, like, again, because there's the culture of like, feel bad for me. I feel like I deserve something. I should get something. And I've been very vocal on, like, I believe you don't deserve one single thing in your life. You earn everything. I don't care where you come from or what your life is. We all start at zero. Again, yes, maybe people start at, but like, even me, I moved out here with $1,200 to my name. I don't deserve anything. Even today, performing, doing very well, I could get fired tomorrow. I don't deserve anything. And it's back to square one. Right? Like, that's just how I look at life. But I want to touch on a couple of things, because you had some great things in there. Number one, just talking about like being yourself, right? I've said this a couple of times on the podcast, but like you said, this is the mecca of sales. And when people are in sales, all we do is read people. That's literally my life. I'm reading the room, I'm reading people, and I'm just a rep, right? The managers are literally, my manager, I was just talking to him, they're probably doing 1 to 4 interviews a week with either their territory or other territories that they're jumping on interviewing candidates. So it's like, they know when someone's faking it, right? Like, this is what we do for a living. Yeah. So that's number one. Number two, if you are faking it, this job, you can, it's just life, right? You can only fake it for so long. Even I joke around with, like, it's a lot like relationships, right? Any guy or girl can fake it for 3 months or 6 months or be the perfect person, even a year, right? But it's like, when the stress comes in and all that, who are you really? And it's the same thing in sales, and people can see that, and that's what they want. Because if you're trying to fake it, you won't last a year, because it wasn't a right fit for you. You know what I mean? So that's like one thing I really wanted to touch on, because that's a great point, is like being yourself. Number two, hard work. Hard work. Like, that is why you broke in. And I believe it. Yes, you're talented. You can talk with people, but like, you just worked harder than everybody else, right? Like, and I will believe that to my end. That's why I got in, right? I'm just like, I will outwork anybody. I will be up for 14 hours. I'll wake up at 4 a.m. and I will start and I won't get done till 9. And then if you go till 10, I'll go till 11. I don't care. Like, that's my type A personality. And like we said, we'll go through it. But the thing I want to say is, like, when you said be patient, there was a point that I just hit me so hard. And you're like, I had to be patient, but yes, you broke in fast. But the thing I wanted everybody to hear is Cam talked about how he still had a full-time job, was still interviewing, and in his free time was still looking up products, was still reaching out to people, was still seeing how he could be 1% better. That's why he got job offers. That's why he got several job offers, full line sales rep job offers with no previous experience, right? And I've said this quote before. Tim Grover, Winning. If you guys haven't heard that book, go, because it's one of the best. Basically, it's just saying, if you deserve anything, Winning doesn't think you deserve anything, it will try to kill you. And then there's a quote in there, and it got famous by one of the strength coaches on TikTok for Georgia Tech, but Tim Grover said it. It's losers do the bare minimum and think they did enough, and winners do so much and think they didn't even touch the surface. And they did do too little. And I butchered that a little bit, but basically it's like, winners are going to work 10 times harder and still think they didn't do enough to win the job. And most people are the other 99% that reach out to me, reach out to other people, and they're calling me and they're like, it's been a year and a half and I haven't broke in yet. I reached out to 14 people, right? Like, that's the 99% of the people. They want the paycheck. They want to say they're in med device because they want the clout, right? But they're not willing to do the late nights. They're not willing to miss meals. They're not willing to sacrifice family time, like I know you did with your wife, and just to get these jobs and job offers, right? You took time to go be studying. You woke up early. You stayed up late. And that's what I want everybody to hear. When he said patience, he was patient, but he worked his butt off. And that's why he got in. And that's where I get so, like, you can see it and you can hear the passion in me. Like, that's why he's successful. They're like, everybody's always like, what's the secret recipe? That's the secret recipe. Re-listen to this, because the secret recipe is network, reach out, keep making yourself 1% better, and then following through and coming prepared. Like, I don't know what else to say. And don't give up, right? Because it will happen eventually. But that's why I'm so excited for you, Cam. Like, first off, I know you're going to come in, you're going to crush it. You'll be in an ASR for a year, if that, and then you'll go into your full line sales rep, and then you're going to crush it. And we'll have you back on when you're President Club winner. Like, it's going to be fun. But man, like, I'm just so pumped for you, because again, you dropped so much knowledge. I want everybody to go back and listen to this podcast again, because he did share so much. But I want you guys just to see, it doesn't matter what your background is, if you're just willing to work and work harder than everybody else, and you're patient and you are like easy, and you're just willing to do whatever it takes to get in, you'll get in. And Cam's walking and living proof of that.
I agree. I mean, I've heard people say this before, but I truly believe this. If someone like me can get in here, somebody else can too. Like, I know you can, but you just have to put in the work to do it.
Yep.
And it's, I mean, like you said previously, like, some people reach out to you and say, hey, I've talked to 14 people in a year. Why am I not in yet? I mean, chance based off my percentages, if I reach out to 14 people, I'm probably not getting that message back on LinkedIn. Like, yep. You message 200, 300, 400 people, you're going to get about 5 to 10 bites maybe. Yep. And so you just got to put in the work. I mean, that's really all there is to it.
100%. And just touching on that too, is like, I believe this to my core, because I've had music teachers, I've had bartenders, I've had personal trainers, I've had ADP salespeople. It doesn't matter your background. It's how you tell your story and your work ethic, and how you're willing to network and make relationships and come prepared. That's how you're going to get a job. That's how you're going to be the one that is coming on the podcast, or not getting on the podcast, but getting the job offer and being happy. It's because you got to be willing to do whatever it takes, and willing, because like Cam said, like I've said, you're growing up against me and him, and I'm winning. Like, I just don't care. Like, because again, we're all nice guys and we're all nice people, nice girls on here, but I'm not here to make friends when it comes to like my livelihood, right? Like, I'm not here to, if it's me and someone else, I'm going to be friendly. I'm not going to be mean to them, but
Yep.
guess what? If you work 14 hours, I'm gonna work 16 hours. If you do, what is it? I think Will Smith said it. He's like, I will die before I get off the treadmill if he's going against someone else. He's like, I'll
Yep.
literally die. And he's like, that's my mindset. I think it was Will Smith. I can't remember. But again,
I mean, you have to have that mindset. You literally have to. Like,
yeah,
and I don't even know how many candidates I was up against. Like, I have no clue, but I'm just like, I had these kind of measures to see. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going up against Jacob. Like, there's 3 other Jacobs I'm going up against. There's 3 other me's that I'm going
yeah,
up against. I mean, that's going to be tough for anybody. I mean, I actually told that to my friend who was going with the ASR role. I was like, I mean, if you're going up against me, I kind of feel bad for you because I'm helping her out. I'm sending her my stuff and just helping her out a little bit. But I told her, I was like, if you're going up against somebody like me, I feel bad. So just be ready and just have that killer mentality, and you'll be good.
yeah, yeah. And the last thing I want to leave here, because I know sometimes I can get passionate. People are like, well, geez, criminy. Like when he's saying the killer mentality, that doesn't
Yeah,
mean I want to hurt people. I'm not trying to be a dick to people. Like I'm not trying to be
yeah,
rude to people. It's just though, like if it's you and me or someone else, I'm going to win. And I just tell people, welcome to sales. If that scares you, if you don't like how I talk about that, don't do med device sales. Because guess what?
yeah,
You think my competition gives a crap about me and my livelihood? You think they care
no,
about my paycheck?
they do not.
They could care less because guess what? They care about their paycheck. And here's the thing, if I'm taking money from them, that means they're not making the money. So
Yeah.
guess what? And again, I just say this all the time. People play dirty. People play dirty in med device sales. And so again, that's why I always will say take the high road, integrity, and maybe short term it doesn't always work out when people play dirty, but long term, everything comes full circle.
Yep, it will come to light. And I do want to touch on that as well. I'm not a mean person at all. I'm a very nice person, but I mean, I played basketball growing up. I still play in like leagues and stuff.
Yep.
And you got to be competitive there too, because I mean, they're looking to score on you every single time.
Yep.
And if they're not, then they're in for trouble if they're going up against me. So that's the same way you gotta look at this. I mean, that's the right mindset to have. Maybe killer mentality is not the right word for it, but
Hey,
yeah,
I'm
that's the
about it,
mindset.
man. I like that. No, and this is why I just tell people, right? That's my life, right? I say this all the time in sales, like why I'm like I get told all the time I'm doing very well in my numbers. Well, you better slow down. You better watch out for quota next year. Yeah, and maybe I should, right? Like, but guess what? Give me a challenge and I'm gonna keep doing that. Like I don't see why I'm gonna go half ass anything. Why I'm gonna go 50%. I'm gonna
Yep.
full because that's my life, right? Like why am I gonna do? I get one life. Like why am I going to just like go through the motions? I've never understood that. I'm not that kind of person. If I'm like I talk about all the podcasts all the time, if I'm taking time out of my day when it's evening time and I could just be eating dinner and chilling out, but I'm deciding to do this and you're deciding to stay away from or take time away from your family time and you're staying up late and doing this podcast, like we're going to give everything we got because or why else would we do it? And that's my biggest thing in life. If you're a person who's just like, I want to do the bare minimum, I want to skip by like in life, and I just want to make that, I don't know if this is for you. And I'm just being straight up. If you're not ready to get after, if you're not ready to grind, if you're not ready to do whatever it takes to be successful, you might want to look at a different career because I promise you, if that's your mindset, it's going to be a rough and a rude awakening for you once you get in.
Yeah, if you fake it to get in with that type of mindset prior to it, then I mean you're a great actor, but it will come to light. I
Yeah.
know it will, and that's my mentality coming into like the hard work is just starting. Like getting in is the easy part once you're in it, and then then you got to do the work to stay in it.
Yep. I say that all the time. I said it on podcast. The hardest thing I ever did in life was breaking into med device sales. The next thing was way harder, and that's being in med device sales. That was the easy part, breaking in after I broke in, right? So now
Yep.
it's just like I tell people now it's like drinking from a fire hose. You're trying to learn the whole new industry. You're trying to learn terminology. You're trying to get credentialed. Like you're trying to go, where do I go for my accounts? Who do I talk to? Like the list goes on and on and on. And it just takes time to learn it. But Cam, man, this has been one of my favorite podcasts. I am so excited for you. First off, congratulations again on breaking in. So pumped for you, but know that you're going to just absolutely crush it once you're in this world, and look forward to seeing your success. But I do want to give you an opportunity. Like we said, people will reach out. Where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. I think my handle is Cameron Forbes 23. Let me double check that. Yeah, Cameron Forbes 23 on LinkedIn. And definitely reach out to me. Like I got a lot of help from people that I reached out to, and I'm going to give back. I love doing that. I like talking to people, and I'm definitely going to pay that forward for sure. So
I love
definitely
that.
reach out to me, and I'll be happy to help any way I can.
And this is the one thing I say to everybody who's reaching out, like we talked about, if you're going to take time with Cam, make sure you come prepared. Make sure you look him up on LinkedIn. Make sure you have questions prepared, because there's nothing worse than when we say this and then you call and you're like, hey, what's up? And I've had people who try to stay on the phone for 45 minutes to an hour with me. And you have to kick them off. So come prepared. 10 to 15 minutes, have questions ready, and he'll help you out when he can. And that's what, and like we talked about, that's why I kept in touch with Cam. That's because he went out of his way, followed up. He was always prepared, and he kept me in touch, and he was always prepared when we talked. And so that's what I'm just telling you is, again, there's a reason success leaves clues, as Joe Puke said on the podcast, one of the first ones we had. But again, if you guys are going to do this, you guys got to make sure that you're coming prepared. Just because here's the thing, it's respect. It's respecting Cam's time, because Cam's going to take time out of his day to help you. So if you guys are going to reach out to him, come prepared with some questions. And because I've even gotten better at this. If you come in and you ask me what company I work for, or you are like, I get off the phone with you in 5 minutes. Hey, sorry, my manager's calling, or hey, I got something come up. Bam. I'm not wasting my time. I get hundreds of messages. I don't have time to waste for somebody who's not prepared. You're not getting in. At least right now, you're not getting in because you're just not ready. And that's maybe harsh, and people will hurt their feelings, but that's why you're not going to break in, And so same thing for Cam. He's going to be busy. He worked his butt off to get where he is. He's going to work his butt off because I know he's going to be successful where he's going. But again, if you guys are going to reach out, make sure you come prepared and you respect his time as well.
Appreciate that, Jacob. And again, I appreciate you having me on the podcast. That, like I said, this is one of those check marks that I wanted. One of the goals I had was like, I will be on the New to Medical Advice podcast. My wife has listened to this podcast multiple times on trips. I love it. And I'm like, yep, Jacob's coming on again. And we listened to like 4 straight. So she knows who you are as well. So you are your family icon now on the podcast.
I love it, man. That means the world. And it's been so much fun with the podcast. I just got to touch on this. Like, I've had people that we got people hired, and they send me Christmas cards, and like, it's just fun. You like, it's making family, it's making relationships, and it's again, it's you guys are changing your own life. I'm just glad to be a part of it. But I just want to say again, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and your night, Cam. It truly means the world to have you on. And thank you for all the knowledge you just shared with people, because I know it's going to make a huge difference in someone's life.
Heck yeah, I appreciate it. Looking forward to future connecting, and maybe I can be on here again one day.
Oh, we'll definitely have you back. Definitely have you back. But if you guys are listening on the podcast, if you can give us a 5-star review, it helps us spread the channel. If you guys are watching on YouTube, a like and subscribe helps us grow the channel, again, just to reach more people. And then again, if you guys are looking to break into med device sales, I have the guide to breaking into medical device sales, where I go over how I got 4 job offers with no previous sales experience. That's what Cam was talking about, what he bought the ebook. And I also have my new first year in, just going over my first year, things I wish I would have known, things I learned in my first year, and what I've done to take the lowest performing territory in the nation and have success. So you guys can find that at newtomedicaldevicesales.com. The link is in the description. And then again, if you guys are looking for a 30, 60, 90-day plan, you guys can go over to newtomedicaldevicesales.com. Right when you pop up there, you can put your email in. It will shoot you an email, so you have that for your interviews when you guys are going. And also, it will add you to our email list as I'm putting out weekly emails to help make resources for you guys to help break into medical device sales. Because again, my goal is just to help you guys get as far and get where you want to go. That's been my goal from day one. I love being able to help people and see everyone with success. So I appreciate you guys taking time, being a part of this community, being part of this family, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.